Hello.
Hi guys.
I meant to say hi everyone, that's what I normally say, but I thought I'd change it up.
Why not? Let's get crazy.
Greetings and salutations. So there's no need for an introduction to this video because you know what it's about, yeah. So to conclude, I think they're very nice. Yeah. No, we're kidding.
Until next time.
Bye. No, that's the worst way to start a video. No, we've got a house that we have never really spoken of much.
We have spoken.
We have done a little bit, haven't we?
We talked, yeah, we have.
But we've not done much. It's not a house that's on our regular radar.
Well, they haven't released that much.
Come on, guys, get it. But it's not been on our regular radar like some of the Guerlain and Arige, 460, all those guys. But I hope that they will be in future.
This is our worst introduction ever. We are talking about.
You know what I mean, though.
We're talking about Centauri.
They're new in our kind of
Peter.
output.
Pete
Hi,
from Fragrance Review. So if you are familiar with this channel, which I certainly am, he is one of the channels I watched a huge amount before we set up our channel, and I loved the way that his channel seemed to be different. He wasn't just churning out top 10s. He really seemed to talk about, with a keen interest of the fragrances. So he had a kind of a passion, but also he really tried to understand them and break them down. And then I watched him when he did his videos about buying materials and understanding materials and then starting to make fragrances. It was great to observe this journey, and then he did release 2 fragrances which we reviewed, which were Dendera and what's the other one?
I can't remember, but I remember we did like them.
Yeah, well, we have reviewed those. So as you said, we haven't spoken about them for a while. He has had 2 other releases, Proxima, which I haven't tried. Neither of us have tried.
Proxima.
There was another one in between called Shambo, which I did buy a sample of and I tried because it was used Ensar Oud oils in it, and he put the Ensar Oud label on it. I think I was ultimately a little bit disappointed by it. It was an all-natural perfume, and it felt and smelt and performed a bit like what I sometimes fear some natural perfumes do wear and perform like, which I felt if it had some synthetics to bring some of those naturals to life, it would have been better. So anyway, we're not talking about those today. We are talking about the 2 new releases, Om and Antheia. So Pete sent these samples to us.
Yeah, thank you, Pete.
Thank you. I think he only sent them to people who had previously purchased samples or bottles. So that was really good. But what is nice is that his samples are quite affordable. So if you wanted to buy this sample set of the new fragrances, it's £11.50 for 2 samples. Or you can buy all of the 5 currently available fragrances for £25.
It's very good.
Which is really reasonable.
Yeah.
I know people don't make much money on a sample, so it's good that he's making them affordable. What I liked, I think we both enjoyed, about the first 2 releases is that there was this real balance between this kind of dark, dusty Egyptian desert spice market and this fruity, energetic kind of garden, bright.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we've got here with these 2 fragrances. So let's dive in. He sent us, so I've had these samples for a few weeks. So I've worn them a few times. So you're going to get my thoughts on what it's like to wear them and live with them. But you're going to get Joe's first
very first impression.
So let's start with Om.
So spell O-M.
Oh, Om. Yeah, O-M. So this is the you've got your own. Well, actually, we can use.
I've got 2 here. Yep.
Om is the kind of the sound of the universe. So it's a symbol and concept and word associated with Hinduism, but also with other meditative practices and principles. So obviously that plants a kind of certain idea.
Yeah.
In your head.
I'm getting a sort of little hints of what it might be about.
£147 for 30 ml. So
Very interesting.
I'll give you a second.
Yeah.
For me, this did exactly what I'd kind of hoped it would do from the name. So I get this kind of incensey, smoky, meditative oud. For me, this was. I haven't tried it on card. It's interesting wear it on card. Do you want to try it on skin? Because I don't feel it comes to life quite so much on card. Have you got some skin?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you my upper arm because I want to save my lower arm for some other things as well. So let's work our way down. Let's maybe go up there. Straight away, I like. It's a sort of aldehydic thing that I'm getting on. Something of that character.
I think this incense there's this fizzy, energetic incense. Smell it on your skin.
It's like beyond perfume in a way. Oh, a lot more. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
It's interesting because I sprayed it on card, and this is the first time I smelled it on card. I've only smelled it on skin, and it was very different.
A lot more sort of oily tangerine-y incense.
Yeah, but I really get. For me, having worn this a few times, this for me was an out-and-out oud fragrance, and I really felt he's kind of tried to play with the facets of the oud and emphasise in particular a kind of smoky incensey, but it's not. It feels like you've gone right into it doesn't really feel like there are top notes to speak of. It really feels. I felt what it felt like. You'd gone into a room. It's interesting. When I came into the church today, I don't know if you can still see some remnants, but there was so much incense in the church today. And wearing this fragrance felt like that. It felt like I'd gone into a cave or a dark stone room sometime after the incense had burnt.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an energetic, bright type of incense.
I get a real freshness to that. I love that.
But you definitely
it's arresting.
For me, I'm getting oud and burnt oud, like burning oud, not oud oil. It smells like. I mean, I'm not a big oud burner, but I have kind of burnt oud chips a little bit, and it smells like the experience of smelling burnt oud, of burning oud chips.
I get that fantastic paint vibe as well that I love in like Ghost House by Anna Zorikina.
Yeah.
I get that sort of turpentine-y medicinal thing that I love.
There is a medicinal twang. He says, I think he says there's a huge quantity of Thai oud, and I don't. There's a slight fruity berry, but I don't get with, especially a kind of, if it were a tract oud, I would expect a little bit more red fruit, and I get a little hint of red fruit, but nothing.
There's a little sort of nondescript, like berry sweetness.
There's a little bit of berry,
not a lot,
but there's
though,
not. But again, I feel this really is. It's a very simple, quite lean, quite kind of direct fragrance. There's nothing too extraneous about it. It really feels that you have to concentrate. It's not one that reaches out to you. I think it's one which kind of sits there and draws you in, and which again seems to work perfectly with the name.
And it's like there's a ray of light just going through it. You can see it. There's a clarity.
And do you see what I mean by this feeling of walking into a cave when something has been smoked and it's just. Yeah. It's not even smoke lingering in the air, it's just been absorbed by the stone.
Yeah, it's already there, isn't it?
And it's there, and this is definitely a fragrance to wear for you. It's not a big fragrance. I have to say, when I wore it on skin, it did last a very, very, very long time, actually. Like a bizarrely long time. It sat very, very close, right from spraying. So he has also put in some synthetic animalics, he said. And you do get this.
It's pretty delicate in its way, isn't it?
You don't get much of the animalics, but I think what they do is they just help the performance, which is great because he's obviously put some expensive oud oil, and those synthetics have just given it a little bit more life and allowed it to breathe a little bit.
I like the fact that it just doesn't smell like perfume. It smells like a place. It smells like a room or like even not to use the dreaded word in perfumery, but aromatherapy. But it smells a little bit like you are in a temple of some sort, and that this is burning. It doesn't feel like.
It's the card, like it's the first time I smelled it on card. And
it's not really the same, is it?
It doesn't do it justice.
On there, I just get a kind of silvery, incensey thing with a little bit of a twang, but
but it doesn't
on
work.
skin, it's completely. It's interesting, isn't it? Maybe we should do all. Maybe we should bring some skin.
Maybe we should like hire some prostitutes or something and just.
No, we have to edit that out because that's going to sound very dodgy. But yeah, do you know what I mean? It's it feels very much like on skin. It's just a much warmer.
It's a kind of anti-perfume,
realistic thing.
It's a completely different experience. I really enjoyed wearing this, and I felt it was really one of the most. As I say, I'm not an oud expert at all, and I don't burn oud chips a lot, but I have a couple of times, and it felt very faithful to the experience of burning oud chips.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've never smelt it, but
encountered loads. I don't think this perfume will be for everyone at all, but if what we've said and described appeals to you, if you interested to smell like kind of burning oud chips and this meditative inward
really is.
Experience which has a certain clarity and immediacy.
Yeah, I love the kind of freshness of it.
Yeah,
like I would hate this if it became heavy and sort of sank down into this.
It's not like one of those big beast mode oud leather.
It wouldn't work at all for me because I don't like things where it's just like a big incensey thing and then it kind of falls apart and leaves you with some skeleton. Because incense, I think it's kind of interesting, but it's not the full story. I think it's often a segue. Yeah. But I like the fact it's just sort of lean right the way through. It's the incense that has the personality.
I really enjoyed wearing it, actually.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Smelling on you reminds me like how enjoyable it was. Right, something completely different. So this is either Antheia or it might be Antheia. Possibly, he doesn't mention it, but possibly, as we suggested, dedicated to Antheia Turner.
Yeah, it must be. I can't imagine.
The 1990s Blue Peter presenter.
Yes, and was she on some silly show with... No, or am I thinking of John Leslie? Was she with John Leslie?
Yeah, I think she might have been. So it may not be Antheia Turner. It may be Antheia, the Greek goddess of flowers, gardens, but also swamps and marshes. Now...
Imagine being the god of swamps and marshes.
Absolute polar opposite.
Hello.
It's a juicy, fruity explosion. And it's very difficult to get fruity notes.
I like that. I never used to like perfumes like this, and now I love them.
Isn't it amazing smelling it in It's the absolute polar opposite, isn't it?
Fruity. Sort of chalky as well.
Yes.
Like minerality or something.
I'm surprised, it's impressive you got the chalkiness so soon. I got it later, but...
It feels really chalky, and it reminds me of a time when I was about 7. I don't know why this reminds me, and I don't know what it is that I was smelling, but I had like a bad kidney infection or something when I was 7. And I remember I was drinking some sort of delicious orangey drink that was medicinal somehow. And it had this weird sort of chalky taste that I really loved. I don't know what it was.
You said that, and now I've just got... I'm picturing Umbungo.
Could be Umbungo.
Do you get Umbungo?
Oh, it's Antheia, god of carton drinks.
Isn't it so far?
Really fantastic.
It's so different, isn't it? Absolutely.
Completely. I mean, and this feels very classical.
Do you think? I think this
feels... With a modern twist, but...
It just feels quite modern. It's interesting smelling this on card as well. I got... on skin there was a slight rubberiness, which I'm not getting so much on card.
It's sort of, it teeters, the sweetness teeters on the edge of being too sweet and cloying for me, but then it doesn't quite go there.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of balanced with these floral, mineral elements.
It's always interesting building these fruity accords because there's something you don't get a kind of fruit absolutes and essential oils quite so much. You have to build an accord and you already get a raspberry, quite a strong raspberry ketone.
Oh, okay.
Note. Which, if you smelt raspberry ketone before in things like Tuscan leather, for instance, it's reasonably kind of recognisable. It kind of jumps out a lot.
I get those glucose tablets, or the vitamin, the vitamin thing that you dissolve in water.
Yeah, or even those
really orangey vitamin drink.
Chews as well.
Yeah.
I also get some damascone kind of facets, some kind of chewy berry appley facets, with a hint of kind of red chewy rosiness. In a kind of sweet,
maybe, yeah.
but in an over kind of sweet.
A bit of Parma
way.
violet as well.
Yes. Well, yes.
Or the little love hearts.
So this, what I felt, especially when I wore this on skin, as I got this initial phase with a phase with all of these fruity things we were describing on skin, but after 30 minutes, I felt those sweet things stepped back a little bit, and it became a little bit actually more meditative and became quite Oris-centric. And I was impressed you said chalky.
Maybe that's what I'm getting.
You said chalkiness straight away, whereas I didn't get that till about after half an hour. And I felt on skin, and I'm almost starting to get that on card, that essentially it was this Oris-y, fruity fragrance. And after half an hour, where it got there, it settled and stayed there for several hours. That
sweetness is flirting with me, and
it's just teetering, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel I'd be so interested to see how this develops. I feel the sweetness ultimately will lose, and it will not win the day. But it's kind of teetering on the brink of sweetness.
There's the Orisiness, kind of. There's a slight leatheriness to Orisiness once you wear it for a while. But I do feel that sweetness stays, and then later, as the fruity sweetness goes, there's a bit of vanilla.
Okay.
Which kind of replaces that sweetness.
It's very good. I really like it a lot.
Personally, for me, for my taste, it is too sweet, and I would not wear it.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to wear it either. But I appreciate it. I'd love to smell this on someone else.
I appreciate it. I also really appreciate what he's done with these two fragrances.
Yeah, God, I mean, they're so fantastic.
They're such.
That's beginning to get a little bit animalic now on me.
Yeah, it's really
beginning to develop some funk.
They are opposites in terms of personality, and I think what he's set out to achieve with his kind of brief, as it were,
it just works, doesn't it? You can tell that he's thought these through really carefully.
It's weird because if she is, and this is going on my Wikipedia research, that if Antheia is the goddess of gardens, flowers, swamps and marshes, I don't get swamps and marshes at all. I get much more tropical jungle, or almost than even a garden, because this is not particularly. It's not overtly floral, I don't think.
No, it's more the sort of fruity sweetness.
Yeah.
With some sort of supporting florals. The florals feel like they're there to balance the sweetness rather than being main sort of.
And obviously we get this kind of Oris-y thing, but again, that's not almost really garden, is it? That's almost kind of chalky leather.
Yeah.
With a hint of Parma violet, as you say.
It's very interesting.
I'll
try that on skin and see how that develops on me.
I mean, I really enjoyed both these fragrances. A
lot of personality.
The Antheia is not for me. I found it much too sweet for my taste.
Yeah, I agree. Om, I would wear it. I would wear that, no problem.
But Om, I really liked, and I really liked wearing it. And it lasted really, really well. Not a big fragrance at all, but it really lasted all day, and I really felt drawn to it. In a way that it drew me in. Yeah. It's not a shouty fragrance.
It's just got real personality. It's got conviction, hasn't it? It says, this is what I'm doing. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, doesn't matter. But I'm here. I like that. It has a sort of a conviction about it, a boldness.
So I think he's done...
Very good.
Really good things here. So well done, Peter.
Yeah. More to come, I hope.
Loving your work. Yeah, absolutely. I feel... These fragrances, both of them, they feel like they've got relation to the first releases.
Yeah, I can't quite remember.
And the other one, we can't remember the name. Gaia, because it's Goddess of the Earth, of course. But both of these fragrances, I prefer to both Dendra and Gaia. I prefer Om and Antheia, especially because there's a fragrance dedicated to Antheia Turner.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good.
We'll put up a picture of Antheia Turner for those who don't know.
Because she's the original.
She did great work.
Yeah, in the
90s. Late 90s, yeah.
Beautiful.
So, thank you, Pete, for sending these to us. And it'd be interesting to see what other people made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what other people thought about this. But until next time, happy sniffing.
Bye.